Welcome back to Source to Podcasts. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome in, everybody, to Source to Podcast. My name is Adam.
And my name is Thomas, and we're not going to waste any time today. I think that we might have the best commander to come out of any set in the last couple of years. Might be going out on a limb here, but we got an auto S tier. So today, we're obviously doing our commander tier list. So let's just go ahead and start with, like I said, the first one that's going to go into S tier. Adam, you don't even get to argue on this one. This is Crystal Inhuman Princess. 1 and Growl, so 3 mana for a 2/3 legendary Inhuman Noble Hero. This actually comes out of one of the commander decks, the Fantastic Four one. So it has flying, and whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Crystal deals X damage to each opponent, where X is the number of colors that spell is. You can tap her to add, what did you call it, Adam? Sans Black?
Sans Black.
So, yeah, S tier. I mean, this is just VV with, white and green. I've been looking at some builds. It's very exciting. You have access to Keen Sense.
Well, Keen Sense and Snake Umbra. So you got 2 of them that are kind of the ones that VV already plays. Notably, there is a new VV Curiosity effect with one of the new Thors, I think. I'm going to be honest with you, Thomas. I think Crystal is a worse commander than VV. I think like the mana button that VV has and the ability to trigger off of colorless spells, I think is better. But I think Crystal makes a better deck in CEDH because, as we know, having access to colors when, mana bases are so strong now, I don't think realistically VV is going to be as good as Crystal will be. But this is a casual ranking system, Thomas.
No, it's not, bro.
This is not
an everything.
Yes, it is.
System. It's still good in casual.
Yes, but here's I'm with you with the S tier evaluation. I understand why you think that and why, because you purely want to build it, you want to do CDH, you want to do VV things without the downside of VV of being an Izzet, which traditionally has sucked. But in casual tables, which is most of our viewers are casual players, Crystal is still going to be very strong, and you're still going to do the same things. Like you're going to want to cheat, you're going to want to play cheap spells, you're going to want to play draw engines and curiosity effects. But this is a deck that functions solely around the commander as your sole draw engine, especially in casual, where you're not going to be playing things like Rhystic Study, Mystic Grimoire like you would be in a CDH brew. And so if you drop a curiosity effect on your 3-mana commander on, turn 3 in a casual game, your opponents, and like you start drawing a boatload of cards, your opponents are going to have problems with you, and they're going to remove your commander, which is not fun at casual. This is a deck that solely functions around the commander, and you're going to get your commander countered and hated, and you're going to get the curiosity effects countered and blown up. I just don't think that this deck is going to be worth dealing with the hate that you're going to get at a casual table. So that's the only reason why I would be willing to put it in A tier.
Dude, it's not even a question that it doesn't go in S tier. It's like you might say it gets hated out. It's hated off the table. But you can protect it with everything in casual. You can protect it with all your boots that you're not going to be playing in CEDH. You can hold up everything specifically. It's basically Voltron, and people know how to build Voltron. Like there's tons of ways to keep it.
Are you comparing this to Voltron to make me try to want to put it in S tier? That's the wrong route to go.
I'm just saying in casual, you know how to build around keeping your commander. Like I'm not saying that it's a Voltron build exactly, but like.
Yeah, but like trying to say that it's good because you build it the same way you build Voltron, that doesn't compute.
I'm not saying it's good because you build it like Voltron. I'm saying it's good. It's good because people know how to build around being able to keep their commanders on the field.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. If you want to put it in S tier, I'm cool with that.
Because I like even at a casual table, I was kind of looking at it, and it's just like, yeah, it's a slower engine, but like still does.
It's an engine for sure.
Yeah, it does so much to keep you in. Like, I think resolving her isn't going to be as much of an issue unless you're playing with people that know how she works, which right now is not a lot of people.
I disagree, but we'll put it in S tier.
All right, well, let's go to years. I put years second. So sorry, since I just got so ahead of myself, wanted to jump right into the list. Same thing as normal. S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier. I think I explained it
We don't need to
last time.
explain these again. We
Yeah,
do
so
that every episode.
we understand how that all goes. The grouping, they're kind of like I kind of grouped them together in a way, but there's no like particular like order that we're going in today, so it's just
I
kind of
don't.
like whatever.
Yeah, I don't think it really
Um,
matters.
so I got mine first. Here's Adams. You want to take it away?
Yeah, mine. Well, this is one of my two favorites from the set. It's Absorbing Man. One generic, a green and a blue for a 4/4 legendary human villain with vigilance. So pretty good stat line off the rip. 3 mana, 4/4 vigilance. At the beginning of your first main phase, until your next turn, Absorbing Man becomes a copy of up to one target artifact, non-aura enchantment, or land. Except his name is Absorbing Man. He's a legendary 4/4 human villain creature in addition to his other types, and he has vigilance. So obviously, as a CDH commander in the current slot meta, I think he's pretty good. Slot meaning just a lot of Rhystic Study, Mystic Remora, Esper Sentinels, and a lot of clone spells to copy them, and just basically trying to get passive card draw and mana engines online. That's kind of where the CEDH, from what I understand, the CEDH tournament meta is very, very heavy on these decks that can make Mystic or Rhystic Studies and Smothering Tithes, and then make clones of their opponents or their own. So Absorbing Man basically lets you do all of that. Lets you make a copy of whatever you want for 3 mana. The only downside is obviously you have to wait. You have to wait a turn rotation for it to come back to your first main phase to make that happen. But it stays whatever. It stays a copy of whatever permanent you make it until the next turn rotation. Which then obviously, if the permanent's still there, you can make it a copy of that permanent again, or you can change it. But it's awesome because it hits everything realistically that you want. It hits artifacts, enchantments, and lands. So you can make this guy a Gaia's Cradle if you want. You can make this guy really strong things, especially in CEDH. I hate to say it though, I just don't think it belongs in S tier. Being stuck to green and blue in the command zone really hurts you on this deck. And then obviously this guy scales with the card quality at your table. So if your opponents aren't playing super strong engines and super strong things, Absorbing Man won't be really amazing. And the 99 of this deck is just going to look like a pile of Simic good stuff, probably, I would assume. You might have maybe like Biomancer's Familiar or whatever the one, Biovisionary, maybe like an alternate win con. There's interesting things you can do, but I think it's just going to be a pile of Simic stuff. So in the 99 is a clone that can become a different thing every turn. I like command zone. I just don't think it's there. So I'm willing to put it in either A or B tier. Sorry, that was a spiel. Sorry. Holy cow.
No, that's kind of what I was thinking as well. I guess the colors limiting it is one thing, but yeah, at casual, it's like you can't always count on opponents having good artifacts, enchantments, especially not having artifacts, enchantments that are something you even want to copy. Most of the time when they're putting that stuff in, it only benefits them. So you're mostly going to be trying to copy your own stuff, unless you're playing like Mycosynth Lattice. Could be an interesting little combo there. Who would have thought that Mycosynth Lattice does weird things? But
Mycosynth Lattice is a combo piece? What?
yeah. But if we're just thinking about it as like on average, you're only going to be able to copy consistently like your own stuff. I would honestly feel like B tier low key, but I think the case could be made for A. I think it's honestly up to your discretion on this one.
Because we're rating it like the ability for it to hit basically all of the relevant things is really awesome. Like obviously it doesn't hit creatures, but it hits all the relevant things, especially if you want strong engines. But in casual, those just aren't super heavily played. So I think B tier, just because, and also like this is a commander tier list, not a card evaluation in the 99 tier list. So I think overall, we got to put them in B tier.
Sure. You want to take us through our next one? I don't even know if you've seen this one yet. It's your friend again.
Absorbing Man and Titania. So 3 generic, a red and a green for a 4/5 legendary human villain. Double all damage the creature sources you control would deal. So it hits combat damage, it hits non-combat damage. It's in Gruul, so it's in Thomas's favorite color combination to hate on.
Crystal's in Gruul, kind of.
This is an interesting one to evaluate because it's a lot like Bello, the one raccoon from Bloomburrow. It's like the commander is super easy to understand what it does, and then you drop like a damage doubler, and then suddenly they look at every permanent that you have, and they're like, "Oh, that's bad." So like this is it represents a lot of damage, And especially because you're not going to be playing maybe a whole lot of other damage doublers in the deck. Like obviously you probably want some, maybe like the really really good ones, like the triplers. But when your opponents see this in the command zone, they're going to look at everything you play as if it's twice as strong. You know what I mean? So I think this is a really good cost for that ability, and the fact that you can put it in the command zone is definitely something interesting. There's like one card combos with like Heartless Hitotsugu, all that kind of stuff, which is interesting. And this lets you play that deck with an extra color, which is cool. But I mean, I like this A tier. I kind of like this.
Yeah, I mean, I could get down with an A tier. I think you kind of cover all the bases. I don't have anything extra to add. I think it's just really great that it doubles all damage sources, not just like combat. So, sure, yeah, I'm good with an A tier on this one. I kind of like it.
Yo, should we build Infect?
There's way too much you could do with this thing. Maybe don't build Infect, but yeah, it's something. All right, let's go to our next one. This is a weird one. This is an uncommon Moonstone Harsh Mistress. It's 3 and a black for a 2/4 legendary human doctor villain with flying. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, until the end of your next turn, you may play that card. So normal black stuff where you just want to be like discarding a bunch of stuff. It's not the same as Turgid, obviously. You don't get that stuff for free, but it is great because it's like whenever you discard stuff. Okay, I guess Turgid hits everybody's stuff, but whenever you're discarding stuff, it's not really just going away. I know there's ways to get stuff back, but being in black, it's kind of limited a little bit because it always helps having extra colors. So this gives you just a way to play whatever you're discarding again. And it's not just, I like that it's not just until the end of the turn that it is discarded, it's till the end of your next turn, which is super awesome. So I like this. What do you think?
I mean, it's interesting. There's a version of this card. It might not say until the end of your next turn, but it's from the newest Kamigawa set, Neon Dynasty. And it's like 2 mana on an artifact creature. So we've seen this type of ability before, and it's pretty strong. Like it's a currency converter type of deck where you play stuff like Sir Conrad, so like it sees cards entering and leaving because it's a triggered ability. So whenever it hits the graveyard, Sir Conrad sees it hitting the graveyard, and then Sir Conrad sees it leaving the graveyard when it's exiled. So this can definitely get out of hand quickly. I just don't like that it's one color. That's really limiting you on this. Like I know that there's a reasonable amount of discard strategy in black, but you really want this to be like Rakdos or Grixis. But yeah, there's being stuck to one color. Like this is definitely a good piece in those kinds of decks. But I just commander wise, I mean it doesn't do nothing, right? Like it's going to be a reasonably strong deck if you want to build it strong. I think C tier for this one.
Yeah, I'm good with a C tier on this one. Let's move on to our next one. We're keeping with the theme here. We got another mono black discard commander. So this is Ultron the Annihilator. It's 3 and 2 black, 5 mana for a 3/4 legendary artifact creature robot villain with flying. And whenever Ultron enters or attacks, create a 2/2 colorless robot villain artifact creature token. And then whenever another artifact is put in your graveyard from the battlefield or an artifact card is put into your graveyard from anywhere other than the battlefield, each opponent loses 1 life. So I think this is crazy strong because it's whenever any artifact, it could be token, non-token, is put in the graveyard from anywhere, whether you sacrifice it, it dies, you discard it, you mill it, anything, it's pinging.
Other than the battlefield.
Yeah.
So you can't like sacrifice anything.
No, yeah, whenever it's put into your graveyard from the battlefield.
Oh, put into your graveyard from the battlefield.
From literally anywhere. So it can... Yeah, I don't know why it says... I don't know why it says both, but...
Because on the battlefield and moving to the graveyard, it's an artifact, but everywhere else, it's an artifact card. Because like it doesn't see those types.
Oh, true. So... So yeah, this is insane, because I always love the stuff that hits all opponents, drains them. This is insane, because when you're doing anything, even sacrificing treasures or just discarding whatever, I just think this is super strong, and you're pinging the whole table. Gets out of hand quick. Definitely one of those big like lightning rods that's going to attract a lot of removal. But I think it's a stronger ability than just being able to play them again, because it's dealing the damage and it triggers off anything. And the biggest thing for me is the treasures and tokens and everything. So there's just ridiculous infinite combos. Just win the game. I think this is just kind of too powerful, if anything. But what do you think?
Too powerful, I would not say personally, because it's for those kinds of combos, like this is a 5 mana outlet for those, which I don't really love, or a 5 mana payoff.
Yeah.
And those combos are a lot more difficult because they're artifacts, not creatures. Like if you want to be playing mono black creature combos, like there's a lot of other things you want to be doing that are stronger than this. I think the downside is the same thing as the last one, where we're missing colors. Like black is not like black makes treasures, but it's not great at making treasures. Like you want to be in red here to make a boatload of treasures specifically. And like black is fine at making tokens, but artifact tokens are kind of rough. It's like these artifact synergies are not super common. They're not cards that are utilized very often. I mean, that's why think about it. That's why the like the Necron cards from that Warhammer 40k deck are so expensive, because like black artifact synergies do not come very often. I mean, I definitely think this is a reasonable commander. I think it's kind of understated personally. Actually, no, because you make a 2/2 when it enters, so that's not abysmal. But I don't know. I think I think this one would struggle just a little bit. I mean, if it were creatures, it would be significantly stronger.
Mycosynth Lattice.
Wow, a card is good with Mycosynth Lattice. That does. I don't know. I would struggle putting this anywhere above C tier, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, that's fine. We can do C tier. I think it's still powerful, but I'm good with that.
It would, like I said, it would be a lot stronger if it had more colors. That's the only downside. Like it's a strong card in the 99, but in the command zone, you'd be hurting, I think.
That's going to be the theme with a lot of these, but we'll see how they go. So, all right, Adam, you want to take us to our next one? Okay, sticking with the theme, or do another Ultron?
All right. Ultron, Artificial Malevolence. 3 generic for a 2/4 artifact creature, legendary artifact creature, robot villain. Whenever another non-token artifact you control enters, you may pay 2 generic mana. If you do, create a token that's a copy of it. If the token isn't a creature, it becomes a 2/2 robot villain creature in addition to its other types. I like this one. It sounds like a broken record, missing colors. A lot of problems with that, but the strong things you want to be doing with artifacts are typically colorless. So being able to make, extra mana rocks and all kinds of stuff like that by just paying 2 mana, like obviously you play all the big mana rocks so that you can even go mana positive or neutral on some of those. Like, it's pretty sweet, I think. Imagine playing a mana vault and then paying 2 to make another mana vault. That seems pretty good to me. The fact that the creatures kind of sucks because you can't tap them immediately for mana. But there's plenty of ways to get around that, and just making extra value pieces, like maybe play like Mycosynth Wellspring, or no, Ichor Wellspring, stuff like that, where when it enters and leaves, you draw cards. I think there's definitely a world where this is a decent commander. I'm just not seeing crazy synergy, so I think that this would be really decent in a casual table. I got to see a guy play with this a little bit, not in the command zone, but just get generic value off of it in a commander game this weekend. I liked it. In the command zone would be pretty cool, and it's cheap too. Like 3 mana comes down early. You're playing all the rocks. B tier.
Sure. Yeah, I'm good with a B tier. I think you covered it pretty well. There's people, and I say people, I mean Ben Bateman, who's saying, "Oh, this should be cool. Like, how are we going to break this?" I haven't heard anything that's like how they broke it yet, but has a lot of potential, so I like it.
Yeah, it seems pretty fair. I like that they didn't limit it to like once per turn or whatever, because I don't think it needs to be limited to once per turn. I think making artifacts creatures really slows the potential down.
Yeah. All right, with that, let's move on to our next one. Finally got some colors here. This is Dr. Doom, King of Latveria. It is 1 in Grixis, so 4 mana for a 3/3 legendary human noble villain. Another discard one. Whenever you discard 1 or more land cards, each opponent loses 2 life. At the beginning of combat on your turn, target villain you control gains menace until end of turn, and it connives. So the important thing here is discarding lands. Each opponent loses 2 life. So same kind of deal. I don't think I've heard a lot of people talking about this one. It's a lot more limited about the discard because you're just discarding lands, and there's only so many lands you play in your deck. But I mean, for what it is, it's like a decent ability. Losing 2 life is obviously more than 1 with the Ultron. But what do you think here, Adam? I don't think it's like crazy good, but it's an interesting little guy.
Yeah, no, for sure. Obviously 3 colors. We like that. We like having a lot of access to a lot of different colors. You're not really. I think a lot of the synergies that this has would be with like green, because obviously lands, right? But my brain immediately goes to retrace, like being able to retrace spells from your graveyard by discarding a land in addition to paying their cost. Because obviously you want to be able to discard lands 1 at a time, because it's only 1 or more. So if you discard 12 lands at once, it's only going to see it once. But 6 damage for 1 land discard seems pretty good to me. Um, Gosh, this is a tough one. I'm between B and A tier, but I want to say I lean more towards B.
Yeah, I think inherently it's just limited by you can only have so many lands in your deck. I know that what
Mm-hmm.
38 on average, or I'd say on average, about 38 is like a pretty decent number. You can get some good stuff going here.
Yeah, I guess realistically, to kill everybody, if no one else does any work, you have to discard like more than half of your lands
Yeah.
in a deck like this. So that could be kind of a struggle. And then, like, obviously, MDFCs won't count because it won't see them as lands.
Yeah, and without green and
So,
like a super easy way of getting them back, that's my only question. But
mhm.
I don't know. It seems like decent, so I'll probably feel more B tier on this one, but
Yeah.
good.
Well, I like that the combat ability procs immediately. So like the menace obviously won't matter on your commander because you can't attack with it that turn, but you can obviously target himself with the ability and connive, so you can at least pay 4, deal 6 damage, discard a land, draw a card. Like I don't hate that. And obviously the conniving sucks because if you're discarding a land card, it's not gonna get a +1/+1 counter. But
Yeah, it's kind of a
yeah, I think B tier.
weird little like hiccup, and but I feel like that was the point. So interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. All right. You want to take us to our next one? It's another Doctor Doom.
Yeah, Doctor Doom Unrivaled, 2 generic and 2 black for a 4/4 legendary human sorcerer villain with lifelink, and tap. You draw a card and lose 1 life. Then, if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. And notably, there's reminder text that says you win even if you have 0 life or didn't draw a card. So, it didn't occur to me how this works at first and why the reminder text works, but so you cannot check state-based actions in the middle of an ability resolving. If that makes sense. So because you're drawing, so you only die due to state-based actions on drawing a card from an empty library after the ability has resolved. So because you're drawing a card, losing 1 life first, and then there's a then clause on the ability, that then ability happens before you can lose the game. So if your library has no cards in it, and you try to draw a card with this ability, you don't lose the game because you wouldn't lose the game until after the ability has resolved, and after the ability has resolved, if your library has no cards in it, you win the game. So you've already won the game by the time you would go to lose the game. So interesting rules interaction there. I was kind of unaware of that, but now that I saw it and thought through it a little bit, now it makes kind of sense now. Command Zone, it's rough, man. And I mean, even in the 99, it's rough because we've got cards that do this in cards that are in colors that are better, that don't require you to give them haste or get around the summoning sickness. And in the Command Zone, this would be even worse. I mean, like, yeah, pay 4 mana, resolve a Doomsday, whatever your Doomsday pile is, then activate Doctor Doom the next turn. You win the game. To me, that doesn't seem very fun and casual. I think this one might be our first D tier.
I can agree with that. I think what really sucks is it's a tap ability, so you can't just be sneaky and do it the turn that he comes down unless you obviously give it haste or something else. I don't love it. I just wanted to put it on here because it's a win the game thing, something to talk about. But D tier is good with me. All right, let's go through our next card. This is one we've actually talked about. I'm not feeling super hot on it. I just kind of wanted to put it on the list because I always think this type of ability is strong. This is Ironheart Clever Champion, 4 and a blue for a 3/4 legendary artifact creature human hero with improvise and flying, and non-creature spells you cast have improvise, which obviously means your artifacts can help cast the spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1 generic. So it's great that it has improvise, gives all your non-creature spells improvise, but improvise is limited because you're tapping stuff, and once it's tapped, it's tapped and you can't use it for more improvised stuff. So it's not the same as affinity, and you're obviously stuck to mono blue. I don't want to go out on a limb and say I think it's D tier, but it's just, I mean, there's better stuff you can do, I think, in blue, but I think this is like a solid card in the 99 of certain decks, but as a commander, I don't feel super, super hot about it.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it's really going to be difficult to keep fueling yourself when you're playing this kind of deck. Like obviously non-creature spells, so you can play artifacts with your artifacts and use those artifacts to play more artifacts, which is interesting. But in blue, blue decks don't really struggle with the colorless mana aspect. Like there's so many artifacts that you're typically running in blue decks that tap for colorless. That's really the significant portion of the ramp you have access to in blue. So like you're going to be pip limited pretty significantly if you're trying to cast non-creature spells with blue mana and the mana cost. So that is a pretty significant downside. I definitely don't think D tier is the right place for this. I was almost thinking B tier because it's a very strong ability, but without access to more colors, I think that C tier is probably good. I mean, there's definitely combo potential here, but I think people are going to see that off the rip. Like people are going to know that that's what's happening. You're going to cast this and then probably explode. I just don't know how realistically that wins you the game.
Yeah, I'm with that. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like you said, it's just the blue pips is what's really going to start hurting you. But it is nice that if you're making other kinds of artifacts, like token ones, whatever they may be, even treasures, it kind of saves your treasures. Yeah, they're not tapping for color, or they're not creating colored mana, but you're not losing them at that point, that kind of thing. So sure, C tier, I'm good with that. All right, I'm excited for this one. You want to just take us through this next one?
Of course, you're going to make me talk about it first. This one is Molecule Man. 6 generic mana for a colorless 5/5 legendary human villain with 1 line of text. Non-land cards in your hand have Miracle 0 generic. So Miracle is you may cast a card for its Miracle cost when you draw it if it's the first card you drew this turn. Miracle is historically a very strong ability, and just giving it to all non-land cards is kind of crazy. On a colorless commander that's very easy to cast. So, most people are thinking off the rip, Eldrazi, duh. But in colorless, obviously, you're kind of limited on your top deck manipulation abilities. And then, this is only something that you can do once per turn. But notably, this Miracle does get around timing restrictions. So if you draw an Eldrazi on your opponent's turn and you don't have a flash enabler, you can still cast it as long as it's the first spell you've cast. So you can just be casting 12 mana Eldrazi every turn for free, which is pretty crazy. But you're limited on colors. It is colorless. I just don't know. Is this gonna be like the best Eldrazi commander?
I think there's Eldrazi commanders that do different things, but I think this is like insanely good because even in colorless, there's a lot of ways that you can ensure that you're drawing cards on other people's turn and just playing it for free. That's the crazy thing. And even being colorless, it's very easy to get this out early. Very easy to get this out early.
Yeah, well, the card I think of when I see this card is Mind's Eye, the 5 mana artifact that whenever your opponents draw a card, you can pay 1 to draw a card with them. Like, that just goes crazy. 1 mana Eldrazi, just draw a big card, slam a big card. Like this, I think this commander's going to be an absolute problem. I mean, the only good thing about this is it doesn't proc the turn it comes down. Like, because you've already probably drawn a card that turn, you can't proc it until your opponent's turn. So at least they get like an untap and an upkeep before they draw a card, so that they can like swords it or something. But yeah, I think this is a really strong commander. I want to put it in S tier. Just because, like,
you want to hear something crazy? I was just thinking about this is a super underground card that not a lot of people I think are tapped into. It's called Sensei's Divining Top. Not sure. Not sure if you've ever heard of it before, but just imagine like activating Sensei's Divining Top, drawing manipulating your top deck, knowing what you're going to draw, and then
you draw
it on their turn, put the top back. And then, the next turn, maybe draw, if you can get it drawn, then you just miracle in your top. And then that's 2. It's 2 every turn rotation. That's so crazy. Yeah, super underground card. Not a lot of people are tapped into. But, yeah.
Well, and most casual tables, you're dropping this guy like turn 3. Maybe if you're not playing like crazy strong stuff, you might not have any of the setup cards, but like, turn 3 with no setup, or like turn 4 with a way to draw cards on other people's turns is probably pretty realistic for like a bracket 3 version of this deck. So I think, being able to drop like 2 or 3 Eldrazi before people realistically have a chance to destroy it, I think that's deserving of S tier.
No, I'm actually so down with an S tier, and I'm gonna keep it a buck, Adam. I hate to be that guy, but I'm totally building this. I've been sitting on it for a brick. Yeah, I've been sitting on it for a brick. I'm like, do I want to build Molecule Man? Yeah.
If I didn't have Graz and another plan for an Eldrazi deck, I'd be with you on this one.
Yeah, I'm building it. Anyway, S tier. Okay, our next card. This is one that we have also talked about. This is Captain America Living Legend. It's 1 in Azorius, 3 mana for a 3/4 legendary human soldier hero. He has vigilance, and whenever a creature you control becomes tapped during your turn, if it's the first time this creature has become tapped this turn, untap it. So I think I kind of missed this last time, but the only thing holding it back is that it only happens on your turn. So tapping stuff on other people's turns, you're not getting any of that value. But I think it's still pretty sick because there's lots of reasons you would want to tap a creature. As we've mentioned, attacking, convoking, other types of costs that require you to tap a creature, and then you just get it untapped and get to do another thing with it. So I think it's pretty sweet type of ability here that you're getting just like extra value. It's always good when you can kind of do something twice. It's a reference. What is love? And yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's not crazy powerful. Like, it's not like the most mind-blowing thing I've ever seen, but I think just as an overall like value piece, it does enough that you can kind of do some extra things. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, in these colors, there aren't going to be like super crazy things that there's specifically creatures that you can tap with like uber strong abilities that you want to untap a bunch of times. But there's definitely a few, like off the dome, Arcanus the Omnipotent comes to mind, like tap them, draw 3 cards. So that, draws you 6 cards a turn. But what I'm thinking with this deck, there's a lot of cards in blue that God, I need to stop drifting away from my mic. There's a lot of cards in blue that specifically are creatures that untap a permanent. Like there's Kelpie Guide, there's like a Pheto Alchemist, there's all kinds of things that untap, creatures and artifacts. So you get double activations out of those. So if you can land like one thing that you want to untap a bunch of times, it makes your other untappers twice as strong, in addition to making it twice as strong. So I think there's a world where like, obviously you play like Greaves and all the Hastenailers so that as soon as you slam a threat that you want to untap a bunch of times, you're able to slide the Greaves around and make things able to tap the turn they come down. But like, I think this is going to be a crazy, crazy deck. How many times we have to say it? This is definitely limiting you with the colors. But I don't think it's that limiting because you just need like 1 or 2 really, really strong tapping things to really go crazy. Like I said, like Arcanus the Omnipotent and 1 untapper draws you 12 cards. Like, that's not nothing. And this is only 3 mana in the command zone and 4 toughness, so kind of harder to destroy with most damage-based removal spells. I think this at the very least deserves A tier.
Honestly, I can't argue with that one. If you're going to put the card that I like in A tier, what am I going to say? No. I do like it.
Yeah.
And I think this is one of those where like it's not going to be telegraphed. People are going to be like, "Oh, I mean, like that's fine," and then you'll do some really like whack stuff, and people will be like, that's not as fine anymore." So I always like stuff like that. All right, let's stick with the theme of tapping for our next 2 cards. Actually, I'll take the first one here. Another one that I like, Captain Marvel, Spaceborne, 4 and a white for a 4/4 legendary Kree soldier hero, flying, vigilance, and cosmic awareness. As long as an opponent has cast a spell this turn, you may cast spells as Liliad Flash. I'm tripping. This is not the untap one. I probably should have switched to 2. But anyway, this is just mono white flash, I guess. I mean, it's nothing crazy. I don't think this is gonna go super high on our list, but I think it's just really funny where you bait an opponent into casting stuff, or obviously on their turn they're hopefully gonna cast stuff unless they're gonna try and be like slick and be like, yo, Marvel Pact, let's not cast anything at all. Like, okay, be my guest, don't cast anything.
Land pass.
Yeah, and it's like, yeah, if you guys just want to not cast anything, then sure, I'll take my turn and you guys could just pass to me. But I don't know, I think this is just a funny little card. There's something about it that I like, and I feel like you could do some like really like stupid stuff. It's never going to be like crazy powerful, but it's just a funny little, honestly, like political tool.
I don't think it does anything good to me. I'm gonna be honest. Like, it does something. I just don't know if the thing that it does makes sense. You're stuck in one color, and all the things that white wants to do at instant speed are already instants. And that my thought at least. Like, it's got super efficient removal that's all instant speed. Like, how many 1 mana destroy or exile target creatures have we gotten? Like, we're at like 5 or 6 of them now. Like, that's probably the strongest thing you can do at instant speed in white. And maybe I'm missing something. But I just don't I just don't see a world where this deck has enough tools that makes the instant speed worth it. Like, I literally cannot think of anything that warrants this, or that like wants this in the command zone.
No, honestly, this would be more of like a 99 card, but I don't know. Like I said,
Even so,
funny little
like
guy.
I just 5 mana for a flash enabler when like Valley Flood Caller exists. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's a funny little guy.
He's not even little. He's 5 mana. There's nothing little about
it's the
that.
politics. It's the politics that's going to get him.
There's so many better cards for
keep them on their toes.
Bro, just play Vidalcan Orrery. It goes in whatever deck, and it's
okay,
one mana less
Josh.
and harder to blow up.
Okay, Josh.
Just if you really want to pay a boatload of mana for an okay effect, play Vidalcan Orrery.
Okay, Josh. I get it, Josh. You don't got to keep going, Josh.
We moving on?
Yeah, take it to our next one.
Okay. Quicksilver Speedster is 3 generic, a blue and a red for a 3/4 with flash, double strike, and haste. As long as Quicksilver is tapped, you may cast spells as though they had flash. Immediately better than Captain Marvel. More colors, has flash in itself.
Okay, Josh.
Has a way to tap itself. Huh?
Nothing, go. Just go ahead.
Did you call me Josh again? Bro, I do not
you
take
finish the card.
All right.
Finish the card.
5 mana, 3/4 flash, double strike, haste. You know, decently costed for that. I like that. And I mean, it's realistically always going to be tapped because it's going to be hard to block it because it's, 3/4 with double strike. And like, these are colors that want to do other things at flash speed. Like these are colors that have cards in them specifically balanced by being sorcery speed, in my opinion, at least. Like stuff like Strike It Rich is just like something that I think of. Like Strike It Rich is just such a crazy card that they had to make it a sorcery. One mana to make a treasure with flashback for 3. Like, I mean, that doesn't sound broken at face value, but these kinds of decks, the way they use that, having instant speed on just random generic pieces like that, I think is really strong. And then obviously, like if they blow up your commander, they know that if it's tapped, you're just going to do things at flash speed. So it's not really going to matter that much. I think that, I mean, I don't love the ability overall, just having a flash enabler in the command zone. I might be missing something overall, but I just don't know how strong of a deck this will build. But I wouldn't go any higher than B tier. I don't even know if I would put in B tier. I think C tier.
I mean, yeah, C tier is probably fine. I think the colors are way more relevant because there's a lot of sorceries in blue, even a lot of sorceries in red too. So a lot of sweet things that you can do with this. I think it's also somewhat relevant that it has double strike and haste, I guess.
Oh, I think very.
Yeah,
very
so not that would be your whole gameplay and you're probably more on the spells and everything, but cool card. C tier, I guess I'm good with on this. There's a world where if I had more time and energy, I would maybe mess around with something like this, but nah, not in this world. All right, take us to our next one.
You start talking about this one, I'm going to grab a drink.
But this is your guy.
Okay, I'll get a drink after this one. Fin Fang Foom, 2 generic and 2 red for 3/5 flyer. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets an artifact or land, copy that spell. You may choose new targets for the copy. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Fin Fang Foom. Man, I was so wrong about this card in pre-release. I think this card's booty. I had it, never once did I want to play it. I found there was like one instant or sorcery I had in my deck that could actually target an artifact or land. Everything else was like an enchantment or something else. I totally misread or it didn't hit me that it was only instants and sorceries, which really killed this thing. And crazy enough, 4 mana for 3/5 flyer in limited was not enough in my deck. Because I was playing 3 colors, I had just way more efficiently costed things that actually did things for me, that didn't have like multiple pips in them. I didn't love this card. And the meme is like it's land destruction tribal. Like you get, double land destruction. And that's something, but it's not something that's gonna make you any friends. So I think C or D tier.
Bro, yeah, honestly with the D tier, because if we're talking about the way that we usually structure our tier lists, it's like nobody's gonna want to play this. It's not gonna be fun to play. It's red, D tier. This is the unbeatable Squirrel Girl. This is 1 and 3 green, so 4 mana for a 4/4 legendary squirrel human hero. She has, do you like squirrels? Whenever the unbeatable Squirrel Girl enters or attacks, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. So you're getting the creature when she enters or when she attacks, so you're automatically, when you play, are going to have 2 squirrels. which means then you can throw 4 green mana into her, and this is not a tap ability. This is I love squirrels. Create X/1/1 green squirrel creature tokens, where X is the number of squirrels you control. So the big comparison here is like Krenko, where you tap him and create however many goblins for how many goblins you already have. But this is, in my opinion, so much better because number 1, you're in green, crazy ramp. Number 2, this is not a tap ability, so so the only like downside is that it's 4 mana rather than just simply tapping it. And in Krenko, you're playing ways to untap and everything. So this is the difference: is tapping, finding ways to untap, doing it a bunch of times versus just sinking ridiculous amounts of mana into it and just expanding your board that way. But I still think this is a little bit better, just being in green, benefiting, I think, a little bit more off of how wide you're going and being able to ramp crazy. Like big surprise in green, there's a lot of ways to make mana. So I think this is really good. There's a reason why I had this at my pre-release, and every single time I played this card, guess what happened to it? Didn't even survive past like resolution of this card. They did not let me have this card, and it was like super annoying. I'm like, what did she ever do? Because she didn't get to do anything. They're like, oh, I read that card. It's bullshit. So really good. Honestly, I'm feeling like at least an A tier on this guy. I don't love Krenko, but I think this is just a little bit cooler than Krenko. Even though I don't like Krenko, and I probably wouldn't like playing against this one, but I don't know. It's Squirrel Girl. She's cool.
Yeah, this card's nuts. I think S tier without a doubt in my mind.
Okay, good. I didn't want to say
what's crazy
that. You
is me. What's crazy is she comes with a squirrel, and then she makes another one later if you attack with her. So I played against one person with this, and I did the exact same thing your opponents did. I hated it off immediately. Like, I kept up removal just so that I could hopefully get them to spend the extra mana on the ability. But yeah, this card is nuts. Like, comes down, makes a squirrel, so you're at 2. Next turn, if you don't have the mana activated immediately, you attack with her, make a 3rd squirrel. Pay 4, now you're at 6 squirrels. If you have any way to tap those squirrels for mana, you're immediately infinite. Like, are we serious? Just it not being a tap ability is so much stronger. Same mana cost for a significantly higher statted creature. I think Krenko is like a 2/2. This is a 4/4 for 4. Like Wendy's. And like I said, comes with a squirrel, so already kind of kickstarts you there, so you don't have to start at 1 squirrel in a color that really wants to ramp. I think this is an S tier commander by far. I mean, there are CEDH brews running around for this thing. It's just so good. Like,
you serious?
Consistently putting wins on the stack turn 3.
Wait, what are they doing?
Earthcraft, Cryptolith Right, Enduring Vitality. You just find ways to either sack the squirrels or tap the squirrels for mana, and you just make infinite squirrels.
Bro,
and then you just win any number of ways.
There's something about these monocolor CEDH decks that really does it for me. Let me see. New tab. Squirrel Girl.
You need to get good at one CEDH deck first, Thomas.
I'm good at long shot.
I know, but you need to get into the nitty gritty with the tech. You need to get the.
I'm nitty gritty with the tech.
You got to get niche with the tech first.
I'm niche with the tech. You're trying to build
Crystal. You're not niche with the tech, bro. You're not.
Dude,
you need to slow your roll.
Anyway, Squirrel Girl S tier, yeah, Squirrel Girl. I'm gonna build so many to go.
Oh my god!
I'm also gonna build Molecule Man and CEDH. Anyway, our next card here, we've got Ant-Man, Elusive Avenger, 1, and is it? So 3 mana for a 1/2 legendary human rogue hero. Can't be blocked by creatures with greater power. And then whenever Ant-Man deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. So I don't know, something about this is pretty good in my mind. It's nice that it doesn't stop chump blocks, but it stops it from being able to be like killed when you attack, which is like super sick, especially because it inherently has 1 extra toughness. So you know for a fact it's never going to get killed unless they have like double strike or like a pump spell, whatever. And then obviously it's CDH. How do we make it unblockable? I have no idea if there's any way to do that. make it unblockable, and you're getting treasure tokens, and it's super, super relevant that they don't enter tapped. There's a lot of stuff that makes treasure tokens and they enter tapped, and this thing doesn't. So you start your turn, basically move straight to combat, create a ton of treasures, maybe even play some of those super sick cards that just so happen to be in red that let you do extra combats. It should gets out of hand pretty quickly. I don't think it's like anything insane. Like it's not like Squirrel Girl or these other S tier ones. Maybe not even A tier. Like I think there's an argument maybe for A tier, but I think like B tier like minimum. What do you think though?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, B tier for sure. I could see an argument for A, but I think B tier is probably more where maybe I'm talking myself into A tier because here's the thing.
I'm kind of feeling it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it already makes itself unblockable. And so you can pump it at instant speed because you're in red and you have a million ways to do that. And it's 3 mana, so you might not even need the unblockable bit, right? You pump this, find a way to, because like even like a curiosity effect that just like draws you 1 card every time it deals damage is like a fine card in this deck. And then it just, if you can deal 5 damage, you go infinite with aggravated assault. Because you're making 5 treasures per damage, or per attack per combat damage. So I think there's a world where this can be a really strong deck. I think this would suffer from like mulliganing low if you do mulligan low, and it's kind of hard to have setup pieces for this maybe. But yeah, I think it's a really strong generic commander, and I think that there's a combo potential for this. So I would say A or B tier.
Easy A tier. A for Ant-Man.
The Astonishing Ant-Man. A green and a blue for a 1/1 legendary human scientist hero. Whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on the Astonishing Ant-Man. Pay 2 and a green and tap. Remove any number of +1/+1 counters from the Astonishing Ant-Man. Create that many 1/1 green insect creature tokens. This is a really cool card. Cheap, gets big pretty quickly by you drawing cards because it doesn't trigger like 1 or more cards. It's triggering per card. So this can get pretty big pretty quickly. And then, if someone tries to remove it, you can like in response tap it and split into a bunch of ants, which is interesting. I'm not super up to date with the Ant-Man lore, so this might be flavorful, I suppose. But yeah, it's Simic, and it cares about drawing cards, making +1/+1 counters, and making small tokens. Like, I feel like we've seen this a million times before, and I'm not super with it. Like, it might be mechanically flavorful, but it's not mechanically unique. And I don't really... Like, it gets big, but I don't think it's really that strong. Just because you're going to be split between going wide and going big. Which I guess maybe that's flavorful because it's Ant-Man. But I don't think this goes anywhere higher than C tier, especially because you're stuck in Simic. The Simic +1/+1 counters and card draw just gets tiring after a while. You know what I mean? I put it in C tier.
C tier? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess. I mean, dude, we're talking about
another Simic commander that cares about +1/+1 counters, card draw, and tokens. Yay!
I mean, I know,
the
but
only reason it's not D tier is because it's flavorful.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's still powerful for what it does. Like, it's 2 mana, comes down early, and it's anytime you draw a card, he's getting counters, and you're just removing any number. So I do like that you don't have to remove all of them. So you can keep one and then do like proliferate whatever stuff. But I think it's really strong. And I don't think it necessarily just belongs in C tier. I would say B.
Fair enough. You played with it. I haven't.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Well, I think it's good for that matter. And just compare, like, I know it's like, oh, it's super cool. It's a Simic commander that does counters, draw, everything like that. But it also like creates 1/1s. Like, it does everything you want in a Simic deck, all packaged in a 2 mana commander, which is
nobody
insane.
wants to play a Simic deck that does the same shit.
No, I know. I'm not saying like,
this
I'm not
is
saying
so
this is
boring.
Like, it's okay, but it's not about like, oh, what you want to do. It's about how powerful it is. And I think just compared, like, it's one of the best Simic commanders that I think I've seen in like a long time. And like, I know it's so boring, but like, it's just so powerful. Has to be B tier. Dude, I get it, bro, but it's strong.
I'm falling asleep, dude. Nobody cares. Okay.
Okay, it's
Fair
B
enough, fair
tier.
enough.
Can we talk about this next card? And I'm gonna let you do this one again. And dude, just say it ain't so.
Serpent Society?
Just be careful. Just be careful, because I just want to be careful with what we do with this one.
What do you mean?
Say it ain't so. Whoa, whoa. S for so. Say it ain't so. S for Serpent Society. Don't say it. But if you do, then like back it up. I don't know. Take it away.
Do you not want to put this in S tier?
I don't want to admit that this thing is S tier, bro.
Okay, Serpent Society. 1 generic, a green and a black for 3/4 death touch. Already great stat line. Legendary human snake villain. It's got ward, get 5 poison counters, and whenever another creature you control with death touch dies, each opponent sacrifices a non-token creature of their choice. This card is up with a capital F and a capital U. This card is 3 mana. 3 mana for this. In the colors that want to be playing cheap little death touchers, in the colors that can make cheap little death touchers, there's no non-token restriction on this. And you can't kill the death touchers because they kill your creatures. You can't kill this because it kills you. You know what I mean? And it's just so like, and like you target it, right? And then like, if you target it with something, the ward will trigger regardless. And then you can still like snakeskin veil it. You can still give it hexproof. Like you can still prevent it from dying after the ward has already triggered. So people will still get 5 poison counters, regardless of if the ward trigger. You just let the ward trigger resolve. They get the 5 poison counters to not counter their spell, and then you slam a snakeskin veil. Like, this card is f***ed up on absurd levels. I don't know why they printed this card. It's not going to be fun. That's the only reason that I would be against putting it in S tier. But I think it is just so strong and impressive at a casual table that you will realistically never lose.
Yeah.
Like, this card has to be countered on the stack, otherwise you will not get to play creatures. S tier.
I know that like Wizards, their whole thing isn't we get some sort of big prize for printing like cool cards, printing the best card. It's like, oh, we did it, team. Like, we printed the best card. Like, maybe there is someone at the team who gets like a bonus or something when they make something in big air quotes good. But so there's, yeah, who cares? Like, whatever. Like, it goes S tier, but it's just so dumb, bro. I wish they would just be doing stuff like this and just getting away with it. They're just getting away with it, for real. The only good thing is, I think we talked about this, that it does have one super unique interaction where you can bully the pilot off the table by targeting on purpose. Everyone else
like people
at the
just
table.
it has the get out of jail free card. Like, you can just, if your opponents don't want don't want to play against it anymore because they don't have any creatures, they just target it a couple times and then they're out.
Yeah, we can just do the really fun, all right, let's end this game right now without actually conceding and play a different deck, bro. Like,
yeah,
okay,
put that away.
All right, our next card. Oh, dude, it's Adam. It's your favorite little guy. It's your favorite little guy. Speedball, New Warrior, 2 and hybrid is it 3 mana for a 2/2 legendary human hero. Whenever a player casts a spell that targets Speedball, he gets +2/+2 until end of turn. You may choose new targets for the spell. This is like, I hate to say, this is kind of on a similar vein to Serpent Society. It's not, obviously. I know that I'm tripping with that, but like, opponents can't really target this thing with removal because then you'll just throw it somewhere else. And he gets bigger. It's like, yeah, target my guy. He'll get bigger. Good job. But you can do that same thing too. So you can target it with removal to make him bigger, and then throw that removal on something else and get whatever benefits you need from it. Like, no. It wouldn't necessarily trigger where it's like, oh, like a Path to Exile where you get the land or something, but I don't know. It still does a lot of stuff. It's like, you just play whatever, make it bigger, put negatives on other people's stuff while you're still benefiting. Like, it's pretty nuts. I do like this a lot. I wouldn't build it per se, but I think that this is just like a unique little deck. Yeah, that's it. What do you think?
C tier.
Sure. Yeah, it's C tier, but
the problem is, like, the good cards in Is It don't necessarily target. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
You have to exhaust a lot of cards to make this card lethal, and it doesn't have evasion. So, like, there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through to make this strong. I think it would be a decent pauper deck because a lot of the cards that you want to play are commons.
Oh yeah, it would be, yeah.
But it's, I don't know. People play board wipes. I don't necessarily think this one's good enough.
I think you have a good point. Like if it had evasion, it would be a different conversation. Like any type of evasion, and sure you can give it,
and you can give it evasion with, like slip through space or whatever, that kind of thing. Like there's ways to do it in these colors pretty efficiently. But yeah, you have to exhaust like 9 spells to make it lethal. No, 10 spells to make it lethal. That's really, really hard to come by. And that's only to one player for one turn. So it's just not really.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It does something.
It does stuff. Yeah.
It's a thing. All right. Our next card. So I've actually been super excited to talk about this one. This is an oldie. This is actually an oldie. They revealed this so long ago. I want to say it was at the that weird live stream I think that they did when they first talked about cards from this set or something like that. And I got super excited for it when they first talked about it. And then it was like on like the back burner. Like I always had this in my mind, like, oh, I am going to come back to this card and maybe build it. Not looking as good now. I guess it's maybe getting overshadowed by some other stuff, but I think it's still a really sick card. This is Namor the Submariner. It's 1/2 blue for a star 4 legendary mutant merfolk villain with flying, and its power is equal to the number of merfolk you control. And whenever you cast a non-creature spell with 1 or more blue mana symbols in its mana cost, create that many 1/1 blue merfolk creature tokens. So everything that you're casting, you're getting 1/1 merfolk for how many blue pips you have. The more merfolk you have, the bigger he gets. And yeah, you're just playing like merfolk kindred. That's it. Merfolk kindred. And I mean, you're losing out on not having green or white, which is the other colors that merfolk like to be in. But blue has always been the strongest for it anyway. You're just playing blue stuff, making creatures. Not limited to once a turn. I think this is still really good. Like, I'm not going to build it just because it got overshadowed by other stuff for me personally. But I like it, though. Like, I've always wanted to actually build, like, a merfolk deck. I think that's one of my favorite kins. It's always been one of my favorite kins. And it's crazy because I still have never actually built a merfolk deck. But I don't know. I do like this. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a really good merfolk commander. Missing out on the colors does kind of suck a little bit. I feel like we're beating a dead horse on that statement. But I got to play against somebody with one of these decks since before the set. He just proxied it. It was actually the owner of Comics Vault in Altoona. Has a Namor deck, and one of the guys at my pre-release actually pulled the showcase foil of this card, which is pretty sweet looking. I got to be honest. I think it's good. You play a lot of the convoke spells because these are blue merfolk, so you can tap them for blue pips, which is cool to convoke things. This deck could be pretty explosive. I think it is probably one of the best token generators that we've ever seen out of merfolk, so I like that. And it's also just like, I feel like an auto include in the 99, just because you're always going to be casting spells with blue pips when you're playing merfolk. And I think a lot of the merfolk lords and some of the good merfolk they're pretty pip intensive. So I think getting rewarded with tokens for just playing spells is pretty good. And the fact that it's a flyer that gets huge. Yeah.
I'm honestly feeling an A tier.
A tier. Yep.
Yes. Dude, now we're talking about it, I'm like, I'm not going to build it, but I don't know. Maybe.
Bro, you got like 5 decks.
I know, dude. My list is actually getting big. I was even going to say, I'm still thinking about building that Speedball one as maybe a popper. I don't know. I'll do something. I'm not going to build anything else on this list, I promise, but this will be the last one. Do you want to take us through our next one, which is your favorite little guy? He's just a little guy.
Ooh.
He's your
Thanos?
Favorite. Yeah, he's just a little guy, and he's your favorite.
Okay. Thanos the Mad Titan is a red, a white, and a black for a 4/4 with Death Touch and Lifelink. He's a legendary eternal villain. He has a power-up ability for a colorless, not a generic, a colorless mana, and Wooburg, so a white, a blue, a black, a red, and a green. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Thanos. Choose odd or even. Destroy each other creature with mana value of the chosen quality. Super thematic. Not a good commander.
Nah.
C tier just because it does something.
Dude, feeling D tier.
D tier, cool.
It does something in big quotes. It doesn't do nothing, bro. This sucks. This sucks. I don't even want to say anything else. It's D tier. It's like, wow, board wipe on a commander that's not even like really that great of a board wipe. Yeah. D tier. All right, our next card. You take us through this one also.
I gotta do everything around here.
Yeah.
Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. 1 white mana for a legendary human spy hero who's a 2/1. And his only ability is the Power Up ability for a Wooburg, so white, blue, black, red, green. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on Nick Fury. Then look at the top 7 cards of your library. You may put a hero, equipment, or vehicle card from among them onto the battlefield. If it's a double-faced card, you may transform it. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. The problem is, this is not going to be an amazing commander in casual. But this is probably the best 5-color turbo commander we've ever seen in CEDH. So I'm torn because it's on either side of the spectrum. So I'm willing to split the difference and just throw it in B tier.
I mean, I think the one thing that keeps it relevant in casual is if you are building a hero deck, it's the best. Like, if you want to build like in-set hero stuff, it's probably your best.
Yeah.
I think it is your best bet, period.
So maybe A tier then?
I still don't want to say A tier because that's only if you're doing stuff in this set.
Yeah. Well, what sucks is you can only do this ability once. Like, yeah, you're in 5 colors, so you can flicker it and do stuff to get the ability again, but it's not even that good of an ability, and it's hard to activate the ability. So yeah, B tier, I guess.
Yeah, like you only get the ability once. You're probably not even really going to be using it for its like discounted costs and stuff, because you're probably going to be playing it turn 1. It's just for the fact that you have access to all 5 colors, playing all the heroes and stuff, so it just kind of does everything. But even then, I don't think the hero deck is going to be anything super crazy. Yeah, the CDH stuff is relevant. I still don't think it's going to be, even though it's the best turbo 5-color deck, I don't think it's still going to be anything crazy. I'm good with the B tier on this one.
It's going to be I think it's going to be the strongest 5-color commander.
But there's no payoff.
5-color turbo is the best thing you can do in 5 colors.
Yeah. But normally they have a payoff still. I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong. I like building 1 color. Keep it easy. Speaking of another 5-color commander, it's a Super Scroll. It's 1 and 3 black, so 4 mana for a 4/5 legendary scroll shapeshifter villain. He is flying, and for 2 and a white, create a 0/4 colorless wall creature token with defender. For 3 and a green, Super Scroll gets +4/+4 till end of turn. For 4 and a red, deals 4 damage to target creature. And then for the big one, for 5 and a blue, target player draws 4 cards. So it's 5 colors. That's really like the big important one, is the last one to draw people out. It's still just not great. Like, it's super expensive to get down. 3 whole black pips is just a lot. Yeah, it's 5 colors, I guess. Has the payoff, whatever, but there's better stuff you can do. I think Kenrith is just absolutely stomps on this thing. Not that great. I don't want to say D tier, but I'd be fine if you want to say D tier, dude. Like, Super Scroll is just...
I think D tier.
Okay. We don't got to spend that much time on this one. We got 2 left. You want to take us through our... You know what?
Yeah. So this is a surprise pick sort of for me. We swapped out a card because... I've been hearing a lot of stuff online, and I kind of get it. So King T'Challa. Is it King T'Challa or King T'Challa? T'Challa. King T'Challa. 1 generic, a white and a blue for a 3/2 legendary human noble hero with flash. And whenever a player draws their second card each turn, you draw a card. 4 generic, a white and a blue to transform it as a sorcery. And he transforms into Black Panther Hope Enduring. So this is, again, another MDFC that you can play on either side. So you can cast this creature for 4 generic, a white and a 4 generic, a white and a blue. It's a 3/3 with flash and double strike, and prevent all damage that will be dealt to Black Panther. And whenever Black Panther deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Nobody really cares about Black Panther. Really, the notable thing is King T'Challa is
Black Panther.
Nobody cares about that side. King T'Challa is just, it's Fairy Mastermind for 3 mana in the command zone, and it triggers off of you. So all you have to do is draw 1 other card. So like you play this, and then you Gitaxian Probe, and then you pay 2 life to draw 2 cards for no mana. Pretty good. Like I said, this triggers off of you, so it's very easy for you to play effects that, like, there's a lot of things that are like 2 or 3 mana to make every player draw 2 cards. So everybody draws 2, you draw 2, plus 1 from yourself, and then 1 from everybody else. So you would pay 2 to have everybody draw 2 cards, and then you draw 6. So all those spells are like 2 or 3 mana for 6 cards. Pretty busted. And obviously this card, inherently passively draws you cards just like Fairy Mastermind does. In the command zone, I think this card is absolutely crazy. Obviously, it scales with the power level of the table, but I think this is either A or S tier.
I would feel more comfortable with an A tier on this one. It's your pick, so it's probably up to your discretion. I think it's good to have that stuff in the command zone. I still don't think it's insane. It's decent card draw, but I think there's just better card draw engines you could be playing out of the command zone. Even though it is pretty solid and consistent and stuff, I'd feel more comfortable with an A tier.
Yeah, like a better card draw engine you can play in the command zone.
What?
Just any come to mind?
Oh, you want me to name one?
Yeah.
Ant-Man. Crystal. That they don't have a card draw engines. I don't know.
I think it's one of the best card draw engines we've got.
Yeah. I don't know. It's good. I don't know.
God, if this was a 2/3, if this was just a 2/3 instead of a 3/2, dude, it'd be a Plagon card.
Yeah,
it so could close.
But we can't be saying if it was this, it could be a Plagon card. S tier. I know that's not what you were trying to say, but
no, it's A tier. It's A tier.
Yeah, A tier. All right, we've got one more card on the list. I'll go through this one. This is also was revealed at the same time as Namor. So this is an oldie but a goodie. Let's get into this card. It's Bruce Banner. It is 1 blue pip on its front side for a 1/1 legendary human scientist hero. You can pay XX to tap it and draw X cards, activate only as a sorcery. And then you can pay 2 red, 2 green to transform it as a sorcery, or just pay 2 red, 2 green for its backside. And this is the relevant part, other than the fact that you can cast this turn 1, I guess. The Incredible Hulk, 2 red, 2 green for an 8/8 legendary Gamma Berserker hero with Reach and Trample and Enrage. Whenever the Incredible Hulk is dealt damage, put a 1/1 counter on him. If he's attacking, untap him, and there's an additional combat phase after this phase. So this is just kind of nuts. Like I said, the front side is relevant in the fact that, you can draw and stuff with it, I guess, only as a sorcery and tap it, but it's relevant that it's 1 blue pip and you can get it out early. So kind of similar to that Nick Fury thing where you can activate, in a CDH sense, you can get all your free stuff out, activate it turn 1. But when you get to the backside, it's just infinite combat and win the game. Because if they block, then you're just going in again over and over again. It also has trample, so so it has trample, so you're always getting in that damage. I think there were I don't remember what those cards are that are the infinite combo to make it to. I don't know if
there's multiple, but there's Caltrops, which is a 3 mana artifact that whenever a creature attacks, it deals 1 damage to it. So the +1/+1 counter negates the 1 damage that the Caltrops deals because it gets dealt 1 damage and it gets 1 power or 1 toughness stronger. It's just you're able to play Bruce Banner turn 1 so that whenever you flip into the Incredible Hulk, it already is unsummoning sick. And then you just, you have access to blue, so you have all the good artifact tutors. I don't know, there probably is another 1 card or 2 cards that just go infinite with the Hulk. But even without it, it's still an insanely big problem.
Yeah, I think are at least 1 or 2 more that people have talked about. Aren't the exact same as Caltrops, but there's stuff like that. I think it's stuff we looked at when we were talking about one of those. I don't know. It was something like a last set where it deals damage, gets dealt damage, deals it to other stuff, whatever it was. Yeah, there's other ways. This is S tier. Everyone's talked about it. It's insane. It does kind of everything that you want it to do. It has the infinite combat stuff essentially built in. That front side being super relevant, playing it turn 1. I don't want to say I like this card. I like everything about it. Not my thing, but I could see why people are so excited to do this thing.
Yeah, and I think it's A tier at least.
Yeah, but we're good with an S tier on this one.
Yeah, I'm good with
Yeah.
S tier.
Sweet. This is insane. This is the most perfectly balanced tier list we've ever had.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.
That's so funny. Perfect.
Mr. Bame,
Perfect.
I don't feel so good.
Oh, this is awesome. I feel really good about this, dude. I hate to say that I do love the way that this set kind of turned out. There's so many good cards. It's just reminiscent of Avatar for me. There's a lot. There's just, it does so many different things. Like all these cards, like a lot of different things. You can really anybody can find a commander that they like, and there's a lot of just really solid options. What do you think, Adam?
They did. I think this, barring the perfectly balanced the joke, I think they really did do a great job of the three big things. It's like the set was super flavorful. All the cards, you kind of know why they have the abilities that they do. That is definitely mostly because most people are familiar with Marvel and what all the superheroes do. So like that kind of helps. But like I said, the cards are flavorful. There are definitely some strong ones. But the set didn't feel too power crept. So they struck a very good balance there. And there's just, like you said, there's stuff for everybody. So they hit the three things where it's like there's mechanically unique cards for everything for everybody. There's new things without, or they struck a balance of making mechanically unique cards without having it feel like it doesn't belong in Magic, which is very hard to do. In addition to obviously it's very flavorful, and they made strong cards without making the set feel too pushed. So I think this set gets 10 out of 10s all around from me. And the limited environment was pretty good, which you might disagree as of right now. Seems a little removal heavy in your meta, but I think you've got a couple more pre-releases on the way, so hopefully those will go better for you.
Yeah, doing two-headed giant right after this, like leaving 20 minutes to go do that. So I'm excited.
That's exciting
stuff. Yeah,
you gotta tell me how that goes.
Yeah, unless it goes bad. But yeah, we'll have fun with some of these cards. We'll see what I end up building personally, and start gearing up for our next set. As always, Reality Fracture. But I definitely think we're going to take some time and enjoy these cards. It's going to provide a lot for a lot of people in every bracket. So exciting stuff. Unless you have anything else.
No. Thanks a ton for watching, guys.
Yeah, we will see you on the next episode.